Hello, it's Dawn. Welcome to the Lionsgate portal. I'm here to give you some information about how to get to know your chart a little bit better. And to do that, we're going to use the moon cycle. The moon cycle is 28 and a half days long, and the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. So what I want to do is show you two charts so that you can take a look at how you can utilize that a little bit better with a chart that doesn't have a time of birth noted and with a chart that does, because this will allow you to slowly move through the month and get the feeling of each sign. And if you know the houses, you'll also be able to see what area of the chart that might be affected. So let's start by me sharing. Right there. Okay. And let me double check this because usually what happens is that it will show some obscure thing. So I will hit share again. All right, good. So this is my beloved grandmother's chart. She was born on June 19th, 1911. And she has a very interesting chart as she has the sun and Pluto were both conjunct on the day that she was born, which is a very unusual thing. And for her, because it was in Gemini, it manifested as she played piano for silent movies. And she was also a very accomplished seamstress. So she worked very much with her hands. And she also birthed 12 children. So I do not know what her time of birth was, but I do know her date. But that seems to be enough to really get the sense of what her personality and chart were. I was surprised when I pulled this up that, well, of course she had Pluto and the sun conjunct. She was very masterful with her hands, so very out of the box, transformative type energy. Also, her being a Gemini with Mercury in that particular sign, that was, she actually was educated and went to college in that day and age. So she was probably one of those 1920s flappers. I know my dad was born in 1936 and he was her fourth or fifth child. So, and she went on to have more. So what I'm trying to say is when you look at the, in this case, you're going to be looking at the signs of the zodiac and the fact that we just had that Leo new moon. She would have had Venus conjunct that new moon. So she could have used the characteristics of Venus um, and either making things or showing her love very much something creative. She was very creative. So I think that would be something that she could have intended. She made her own clothes. She was very stylish, but she sewed her own clothing, and she could have done something very creative with that Venus being there and being that enjoying beautiful things. So as she would have moved from the Leo to the Virgo, it's getting the details. How do I want it to look? What are the detailed things I want to take care of right now? That's very much a Virgo style thing as your moon is moving through that area of the chart. And the interesting thing too is that you can see if you have any other planets. I would suggest for this first time that you're doing this, if you're not very familiar with astrology, is seeing what conjunctions you have, meaning that it should be very near to a planet instead of worrying about oppositions or anything right now. Just worry about the conjunctions. So as we go up into this area of the chart, this is Juno. This is about sacred contracts. Can also be about marriage in the home. It could be in the sign of Leo. I mean, sorry, in the sign of Libra. My dog is distracting me right now. This would be in the sign of Libra. This area of the chart is very much about family and other things in the chart related to your home, possibly, or beautifying something or other people. So then we have Scorpio with Jupiter there. in this sign, there would be very much a definite feeling of research, of finding things out. And being that she played piano, she could utilize that energy of that Scorpio to be very creative, to be very using the music that she played and using it to give a realization to her songs of beauty. So we go into Sagittarius, and Hecate is here. Now, she was definitely a believer in woo. So I think it's very interesting that she is a being my grandmother. My dad was going to tease me about being a tarot card reading and astrologer, and I'm like, oh no, grandma would have been super proud of me, and she believed in second sight and all that. So you can't give me any friction on any of that information. So this Hecate and Black Moon Lilith right here, if that being in that area of the chart, that conjunct with Sagittarius in the area of Sagittarius, would have been that forward thinking and looking at the positive side of things, and very happy-go-lucky, looking things at the most positive way possible. And then we're going into Capricorn. Capricorn is about getting things done in a physical way. So what can you do that would be a physical thing that you could express? I would say if you are making something, if you are planting something, if you are wanting to get something done, like cleaning out a closet or something like that, that's a nice 2.5 days to utilize that when your moon is going through that area of the chart. And for me, anything that is in Capricorn is there to work. So I always say that, when you get to Capricorn, any planet or any asteroid that's in that area of the chart is there to get work done, get things organized. Then you get in the moon in Aquarius. The moon in Aquarius is very much about forward thinking. It's about great ideas. It's about having downloads. It actually is a very psychic area of the chart, because you're getting that, it's like that Uranus energy is like bouncing in. So you can get a lot of different ideas in this area of the chart. And also, because I happen to be a Aquarius moon, it's also about being able to bring your ideas forward into the collective. You don't have to be with other people in order to create your ideas, but bringing them forward and then showing your ideas for others to use. I think that everybody that has an Aquarius moon, we are all a bunch of hermits that get together and share our ideas. So then you have Pisces. When the moon goes through Pisces, that's where it is exalted. So it has this great sense of intuition, emotional balance. Depending on what else you have here, she happened to have a Chiron in this area of her chart, so she might have been a little bit more emotional during this time. Her moon is it's possible that her moon was here with this being, not knowing the exact time. I never trust the moon when I don't know the exact time. But the other things, anything from Mercury through the rest of the solar system, you can be pretty definite about those degrees, especially anything from Mars onward. Mercury might be off by a degree occasionally, but otherwise, I think you're pretty well set. When the moon gets into Aries, that's a very fiery energy. That's a very leadership energy. That's about being out there, being strong. And she has Mars here. So if you had the moon going over Mars, oh, could she have a temper? She had a very interesting way of handling her big sons. She was never allowed any of her children to sass her back. So it was she knew how to wield her temper well. Going into this area of the chart, Taurus. Taurus is also about getting things done in a physical way. She did have the North Node here. So as you're going through and you are conjuncting each one of these things, I think you can get a sense of what each one of these asteroids or planets is going to represent. And the moon has a very wide orb. So anytime it's in any sign and there's a planet there, I would say you can give a 10 to 15 degree orb for the moon because it moves so quickly. The moon actually moves a degree every 2 hours. So it takes 2.5 days to get through each sign. And I will show you a little shortcut here. Stop this share and go on to another share right here. Try this again. Make sure I get this for you. Share. What I want to show you is this chart. So here is the new moon that we had on Sunday, 7:12 a.m. And then you can see that it was a waxing crescent moon. And then you see where it went into Virgo. So I like this particular website. It's moon calendar at astroseek.com. And it shows the area of the body that this would cover. But as you move through here, you can see exactly the time it changes. These are Eastern time for these changes of the moon. So you do get a sense of when it's actually going through and when it's switching to another time. And I would see for yourself how you feel when you know the moon is moving through that sign and you know what planets are there. And I think that's a way for you to familiarize yourself with your chart in a very short period of time. So you have it going into Scorpio and into Sag. As you can see, all these, that is, they change. And then you have this information over here. You have the date. And then we have that full moon in Aquarius. And then it moves on into Aries, Taurus, Gemini, back through Cancer, and then back into Leo on Saturday, August 31st. So pretty good move all the way through the month. So I wanted to show you what the calendar looked like as far as going through the different phases. You can see all the different phases. You can see the different times that the moon is changing signs. So let me show you. I'm going to stop this share. And I'm going to go back to that's not what I wanted. There. I'm just going to make sure I have the right one because I've had problems with this before. Okay. I'd rather do it twice and make sure that it's done during this time. So I'm going to change from my grandmother to me. And of course, I do know my times. So this is me. I am a Gemini rising. And we're going to start right here with this Leo new moon. So one of the things is as the moon goes over maybe Uranus, something unexpected may happen, something that may make me emotional. And on Monday is when the moon went into Virgo. So then as it travels through here, it would probably have gotten to the first day. Again, it's 8 degrees in 4 hours. So you can see that, yeah, 8 degrees and 1 degree every 2 hours. So 4 degrees in 8 hours. My apologies. Pluto. What transformational energy? These are conjunct basically. So you would have felt the energy of both. I would have felt the energy of both those as I go through. Here's my black moon Lilith. That'll be in another day. But this all has that energy of all those things in it as the moon is moving through. I'm very affected by the moon. My son is ruled by the moon. I was born at night. That makes a difference as well. So if you are born at night, you are considered a night chart, and that you would have the moon as what they call your sect light. Technical term for just saying that's the light that was shining when you were born. So the moon would be, as it travels around here, would be something that would be very affecting of you. So as you're moving through this area of the chart, this happens to be my fourth house of family. So we were dealing with a lot of family issues, um, even today as we move through the rest of this, a couple days through this week, we're still dealing with family issues related to my father's death. So as we go through this and into this fifth house of Libra, which is about, it can be about others, it can be about how you relate to people. I do have Urania here. So she is the goddess of astrology and astronomy. She's actually the granddaughter of Uranus. So she figures very prominently in my chart because she actually trines my moon and my Mars. So it makes a grand air trine. Now, as it goes on into this area of Scorpio, this is where my vertex is. If you have the moon conjuncting your vertex, you might meet someone as a possibility that day. That's, something, anything that's conjunct the vertex. The moon is not, it happens so quickly that it might be just a minor thing. But if you have like Venus conjunct the vertex or Mars conjunct the vertex, one of those planets, still a personal planet that is conjuncting the vertex, there's a fated thing that's going on with that energy. And as you move further into Scorpio, you have, this is my Neptune that was stationing direct when I was born. So this area of the chart, for me, has signified in this sixth house, creativity and dancing. And I have a lot of background in the medical field. So earlier in my career, I was a transcriptionist. So that makes sense with my Mercury and all of with my career. So going through these areas of the chart, what can I do creatively? I love to do Zumba and do choreography. Coming up here, this is my lot of fortune. So again, I would pay attention as you're moving through the chart. This is my eighth house in Capricorn. As you're moving through the areas of the chart, what does the eighth house signify? Inheritance, spiritual matters. And as you're moving further through the chart, my moon is here in Aquarius, Saturn, my MC, Cheroklo, good time for healing, to take steps to help any personal healing that I feel I might want to try and initiate during these times. I know that we're being given some great tools for this date so that we can utilize different meditations, which I think are fabulous. Going into the area of Pisces, maybe something more related to my career, creativity, getting inspiration. Again, my Chiron is here. Jupiter is here with all those connections that it makes. So when if the moon is activated in your chart and it is going over this area of your chart, it might activate something with Jupiter that then triggers these things in the chart. So this is why I want you to pay attention to your chart, because you will pick up on the subtleties of those. And then when the other planets come through, you'll kind of like, it's gives you an idea of how the vibrational energy is working in your chart. So as the moon goes through Aries, there's Eris here. Oh yes, the fire starter. Yeah, I can cause an issue now and again in Aries, but with the moon going through this, it's a very, to me, when I have this happening in this particular area of the chart, I have a good time. I'm out there to have a good time. I'm out in public. It's in a fire sign. So it's very, yeah, why not? That's my attitude when I have my moon in Aries. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So you'd be surprised at the different feelings that you can get as you move through different houses. And this is a very social house, this 11th house, the house of friends. And then you go into Taurus. Taurus is my 12th house. But again, for me, I feel like it can be an area of unseen things. It can be an area of things ending. It's definitely an area of endings. This house was activated when I was having my divorce. It was the house that was perfecting that year. And then going back into Gemini. And this is my Pallas Athena. This is my warrior goddess energy, which I love. And it's right next to Mars, which makes it even more warrior goddess energy. My ascendant, the moon going over my ascendant, and my Hecate, which is the way shower energy. Then through Mercury, there is Ceres, Juno, Vesta, and my sun. And then we come back around to my north node and we go back to where we started from, which was about 12 degrees. So sometimes when the moon is going over the actual transiting nodes in the chart, if I pulled up, I think I have some date transits here. Dun, dun, dun. There. So this is for November 30th. So on this particular day, the moon is moving through Scorpio. It's going to be heading into Sagittarius. It's going to be going over my lot of fortune and is going to be joining the sun for a new moon in Sagittarius, probably within the next day, I would say. I'm not sure what time this is showing for. It doesn't give me the time there. So it's showing that information. And as the moon is moving, you can see here where it's going to be hitting other areas of the chart. So all of those things, if you have these showing on the outside, the transiting things on the outside, then the moon will get a little bit more flavor to it as you're going through the chart. So I would suggest taking a look at your chart and then making note of the houses that the moon is moving through and what signs they are, and if there's anything else in that particular sign as the moon moves through it. The sun will move a degree every day. Mercury will then be in, at that time will be in retrograde again. So when the moon touches those areas of the chart, when the moon, how do they put that? It's like the Venus kiss when the moon goes over Venus every month, right? So that's a very beautiful and wonderful and inspiring time. And it's going to happen to be in this particular time in Capricorn. It's going to then go across Ceres and Pluto and then on into this next house. But those are the different things that you can take a look at in your chart. And it really gives you an opportunity to learn your chart in a very personal way. And follow it if you can, follow the moon every month to get that sense of, okay, the planets have changed a bit. Is Mercury in retrograde? How does it feel when the moon goes over that for me? That's going on right now. So I would say you would get an opportunity to see what that is and how you can work with those energies. So this is just my way of helping you to learn your chart a little bit better, and really enjoying the sense of what is going on with the moon and the moon phases. So I hope you get a chance to really enjoy this. And you know, I am open to any questions that you might want to ask. If you ask them in the comments, I will answer, you know, the basic questions that you might have regarding this particular subject with the moon. So I hope to see you again at all these other things. And I will be live this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time, just to say hello to everybody and see how their day went with the 8-8 energy. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Enjoy your Lionsgate.